I was watching footage of Princess Catherine at a state dinner and couldn't stop noticing something specific. She sat there for 3 hours with perfect posture and composure, and her hands never once went near her face. Not once. While everyone around her was touching their hair, adjusting their jewelry, she was completely still. That's not natural behavior. That's the result of deliberate training. And once you start looking for it, you see these patterns everywhere with truly elegant women, royals, style icons, successful women who always look polished. They move differently. They speak differently. After studying hundreds of hours of footage, I found 15 specific behaviors that separate elegant, sophisticated women from everyone else. If you want more content like this on timeless elegance and refined style, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Here's what I discovered. Watch footage of truly elegant women at formal events. They're remarkably still compared to most people. While everyone fidgets to some degree, polished women are noticeably more controlled with their hand movements and face touching. This is trained awareness. Face touching is recognized as a nervous tell that signals discomfort or anxiety. While everyone touches their face occasionally, elegant women are conscious of excessive fidgeting and minimize it, especially during important moments. Most of us touch our faces dozens of times without realizing it. Tucking hair behind ears, resting chins in hands, rubbing noses, constant adjusting. Each time signals restlessness. The difference with polished women is they're aware of this habit and control it deliberately. The training here is awareness. Start noticing when your hands move toward your face, then consciously reduce it. You don't need to be perfect, just more controlled than constant fidgeting. Within a few weeks, this becomes automatic. The difference in how composed you appear is noticeable. Audrey Hepburn wore Givenchy L'Interdit for over 30 years. Grace Kelly had her signature Creed fragrance. Jackie Kennedy was known for Jicky by Guerlain. Michelle Obama wears her signature scent. These women understood that scent creates the strongest memory association. When you wear the same fragrance consistently for years, that scent becomes part of your identity. People associate it specifically with your presence. This is strategic personal branding that elegant women have practiced for generations. The fragrance should be sophisticated and timeless. Classic perfumes that have existed for decades rather than trendy releases. Something appropriate for both daytime and evening wear. Once chosen, you wear it exclusively until that scent becomes synonymous with you. This creates an additional layer of memorable presence beyond what people see or hear. It's subtle but remarkably effective. I analyzed how elegant women enter rooms at formal events, and there's a clear pattern. Princess Catherine, Amal Clooney, Oprah, successful CEOs, they all walk into rooms the same way. No pausing at doorways, no scanning for familiar faces, no waiting to be acknowledged. This behavior comes from confidence training. They're taught that they belong in any space they enter, so hesitation doesn't occur. The physical execution is straightforward. They open doors decisively, maintain excellent posture, make gracious eye contact, and move directly to where they're going. Most women pause at entrances, which immediately signals uncertainty. That first 3 seconds sets the tone for how you're perceived for the rest of the event. Hesitation reads as insecurity. Graceful confidence reads as natural elegance. The mental component is crucial here. You're not asking permission to occupy space. You're arriving at an event where you're invited, which means you're meant to be there. Watch interviews with truly polished women. They're always the ones who end conversations. The Duchess of Cambridge, Anna Wintour, successful businesswomen, they conclude interactions graciously but decisively. The phrasing is warm but final. It's been lovely speaking with you, but I really must go. Then they excuse themselves. They're never the person left talking because the other party ran out of time. This applies to phone calls, video meetings, and in-person conversations. This demonstrates respect for your own time while maintaining graciousness. You're not waiting to be dismissed. You're politely concluding when appropriate. Most women wait for the other person to end things. which positions them as having unlimited availability. The technique is simple. When the conversation has served its purpose, you're the first to say, "How wonderful to see you. Do enjoy your evening," and gracefully exit. Princess Diana carried herself with identical grace, whether she was in evening wear or gym clothes. Her composure, her posture, her eye contact, completely consistent regardless of how dressed up she was. This reveals confidence that's internal, rather than dependent on external appearance. Many women have noticeably different energy when they're not fully made up or dressed. That inconsistency signals that confidence comes from makeup and clothing, rather than genuine self-assurance. Truly elegant women maintain the same gracious presence, whether they're in casual clothes without makeup or in formal attire. This doesn't mean avoiding makeup or not enjoying dressing up. It means your fundamental poise and self-possession remain constant. The work here is internal. Notice if your confidence or willingness to engage with people drops when you're not fully put together. That awareness shows where the growth needs to happen. Every photograph of Queen Elizabeth in a seated position shows the same thing. She's sitting all the way back in the chair with perfect posture, fully occupying the seat. Never perched on the edge as if ready to leave. Perching on chair edges signals nervousness or feeling temporary. Sitting fully back with good posture signals you're comfortable and belong in that space. This was part of formal deportment training in aristocratic education. The posture itself is crucial. Back straight, shoulders down and back, hands resting gracefully in lap or on armrests. This isn't rigid or uncomfortable once you develop the core strength to maintain it naturally. This applies at dinners, meetings, formal events, anywhere you're seated. Using the full chair elegantly demonstrates both confidence and good breeding. Check your sitting position at your next event. If you're perched forward, consciously sit back fully and maintain good posture. If you're finding this valuable, please like this video and comment which of these observations resonates most with you. I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Polished women follow a specific protocol. They arrive 15 minutes early but don't enter immediately. They use that time in the car or a nearby private space to compose themselves, review any necessary information, and ensure their appearance is perfect. This buffer time eliminates arriving rushed or flustered. When they walk in, they're completely calm and collected because they've had adequate transition time. They're not catching their breath, apologizing for traffic, or fixing their appearance in public. This also allows observation before entering. You can see who else is arriving, gauge the atmosphere, and adjust your approach accordingly. For seated events, being settled before others arrive is far more graceful than rushing in last. The practical application requires building buffer time into your schedule. If an event starts at 7, plan to arrive at 6:45. That 15-minute cushion means you arrive in a state of composure rather than stress, regardless of traffic or other variables. I've noticed truly elegant women remember specific details, how someone takes their tea, topics they mentioned previously, personal details from past conversations. This isn't coincidence or perfect memory. It's trained behavior that's considered fundamental to gracious interaction. Remembering and referencing these details makes people feel genuinely valued. How did your daughter's piano recital go? When you remember they mentioned it weeks ago creates meaningful connection. This requires actually paying attention during conversations and sometimes keeping written notes about people you see regularly. This extends to anticipating needs before they're expressed. If someone appears cold, immediately offering your wrap. If someone's phone needs charging, having a charger available. These small, thoughtful gestures accumulate into a reputation for gracious consideration. This is what elegant hospitality has always been founded on, making people feel cared for through attentive, thoughtful actions that demonstrate genuine awareness and consideration. Elegant women have a specific technique for redirecting conversations that turn negative or unproductive. If someone begins gossiping, They smoothly change direction without being preachy about it. The phrasing is warm but firm. I don't know much about that situation. Tell me about your recent trip to Scotland instead. I've been wanting to hear about it. This redirects without judgment while keeping the atmosphere pleasant. The technique uses the person's name to create a natural pause, then pivots the conversation. Catherine, before we continue down that path, have you heard about the new gallery opening? It's executed smoothly enough that no one feels corrected or shut down, but the conversation moves to better territory. This is social grace in practice, guiding interactions in positive directions while maintaining warmth and consideration for everyone involved. Truly polished women have a consistent characteristic in their speech. Their statements sound like statements, not questions. Princess Anne, Diane von Furstenberg, successful executives, they all speak with downward inflection at the end of declarative sentences. Most women unconsciously end statements with upward inflection, making everything sound tentative. I think we should proceed this way. Sounds like asking for approval even when stating a clear position. This is socialized conditioning to soften speech and appear less aggressive. The correct approach is using downward inflection for statements. I think we should proceed this way. Period. This demonstrates certainty and appropriate authority. Questions can have upward inflection because they are questions. Statements require downward inflection to communicate confidence. Recording yourself and listening for this pattern is revealing. Practice making statements with downward inflection. It initially feels too assertive, then becomes natural. The difference in how seriously you're taken is immediate and significant. Polished women never make vague promises. Let's get together soon means nothing. Instead, they propose specifics. Are you free for tea on the 15th? This comes from understanding that your word carries real weight. You don't make commitments you might not honor. You offer specific time frames and then follow through precisely. I'll call you Tuesday afternoon. I'll respond by Friday at 3. Let's plan for the 20th. This specificity demonstrates respect for others' time and creates clear accountability. It also prevents the endless back and forth of trying to pin down vague plans. Most importantly, it builds a reputation for reliability. When you say something, people know you mean it and will honor it. This consistency in following through on commitments is increasingly rare, which makes it even more valuable when demonstrated. Refined speech training emphasizes articulate communication without verbal fillers. Listen to any interview with truly polished women. Their speech is remarkably clean. No, no, like, no, you know. This comes from training in clear, thoughtful communication. Instead of filling every pause with verbal debris, they simply pause. I was thinking we should consider the budget, followed by a brief pause, sounds educated and thoughtful. I was thinking we should, maybe consider, the budget. Sounds uncertain and unpolished. The technique is replacing fillers with brief pauses. When you feel an coming, pause silently for 1 second instead. This feels uncomfortable initially but sounds completely natural and deliberate to listeners. Those pauses actually enhance perception of thoughtfulness. This single change elevates how refined and educated you sound. Clean, articulate speech without verbal fillers is immediately noticeable and creates a strong impression of competence. Truly elegant women extend identical courtesy to everyone, from VIPs to service staff. They make eye contact with servers, use names when possible, say please and thank you consistently, and treat everyone with genuine warmth. This isn't performative behavior. This is character. True elegance means treating everyone with consideration and respect, not just people who can benefit you. Someone who's warm to important people but dismissive of service workers reveals they have no real class regardless of their background. Other people observe this behavior. How you treat those who can do nothing for you reveals your actual character. This is perhaps the most accurate test of genuine elegance versus performed elegance. The application is straightforward. Make it automatic to acknowledge and thank anyone providing any service. Make eye contact, use names when available, express genuine appreciation. These small interactions reveal who you genuinely are. After researching elegant social protocols, handwritten thank you notes are non-negotiable among truly polished women. After being a guest at someone's home, after receiving a gift, after any significant kindness, handwritten notes on quality stationery within 48 hours. This isn't optional among elegant circles, it's basic manners. The note is brief, 3 to 4 sentences expressing specific appreciation. Thank you for the lovely dinner Saturday evening. Your home is beautiful and the conversation was delightful. I particularly enjoyed meeting your sister Catherine. The requirement is having quality note cards and stamps readily available so there's no friction in executing this. It should be as automatic as saying thank you in person. The cumulative effect is significant. You become known as someone with impeccable manners and genuine consideration. This practice is increasingly rare in modern life, which makes it even more powerful and memorable when someone receives a handwritten note. Truly elegant women at receptions and social events might hold a glass or accept a small plate, but food and drink are never their focus. That's not the purpose of attending. The reason is practical. When your hands are full or your mouth is occupied, you can't properly greet people or engage in meaningful conversation. If you're focused on eating, you appear closed off and unapproachable. The strategy is eating before the event if you're hungry. At the event itself, you're there to connect with people. A glass provides something to hold. Perhaps 1 or 2 small, clean appetizers during natural conversation pauses. But the primary focus remains on people and interaction. Regarding alcohol, 1 glass maximum at social events, sipped slowly throughout the evening. The goal is maintaining complete clarity and composure. Even slight impairment undermines the polished image you're creating. The fundamental understanding is that social events are about building and maintaining relationships, not about consumption. That's what elegant women comprehend instinctively. These 15 behaviors aren't arbitrary rules. They're refined practices that have been cultivated by elegant women for generations. They create genuine presence, grace, and lasting impressions. Most people never learn these because they're not part of standard education. But understanding and implementing them deliberately creates authentic elegance and sophistication. These 15 observations from studying elegant, polished women offer genuine insight into cultivating timeless sophistication. Start implementing the ones that resonate most and notice how your presence evolves. If you found this valuable, please share it with someone who appreciates refined behavior. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more content on developing genuine elegance and timeless style. I create videos that help you elevate every aspect of how you present yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.